freedom and just the gifts that this land offers to us as citizens. We're grateful for one another, grateful for our staff, for all the hard work that they put forward on behalf of the citizens of Eagle Mountain, for the tireless hours that they work, and for the sacrifices that they make away from their families as they strive to deal with those issues that come up in the middle of the night, on a long weekend, or any other time that seems to be inconvenient when those things happen. We express gratitude for them. We express gratitude, Father, for willing developers who are willing to come and to invest their money and their resources in our city in an effort to produce something worthwhile and something that benefits and blesses them and provides opportunity and allows our citizens to grow and flourish and for our community to be viable. We're grateful for the economic development opportunities that continue to come to us, and pray that we'll be blessed with wisdom as we exercise and make decisions regarding them. I want to express gratitude this evening in particular for the council members, both present and past, for mayors, both present and past, and for all those public servants, including our sheriff's department and our firefighters, just for their efforts, for their love of our community, and for their willingness to sacrifice their time and to provide their services on our behalf. Pray, Father, for wisdom and guidance in the decisions that we'll make today. Bless us with civility and kindness as we interact with one another, and express gratitude for the opportunity to make and to be involved in these discussions and decisions, and humbly do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, and we'll call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. First, we have a few housekeeping items. Mayor Gray is not here tonight, so I'm filling in as Mayor Pro Tem and conducting the meeting. We'll excuse him. And then the housekeeping-wise, I need to announce that there's 3 items that were noticed for public hearing as follows. However, these 3 items, only 15A will be held as a public hearing tonight. So if you received a public hearing notice or something like that, we want you to really pay attention to this part. 16A will not be a public hearing. That's the ordinance of Eagle Mountain City amending Eagle Mountain Municipal Code 8.15.0.0 noise levels. And then 17A is also not a public hearing, approval of Second Amendment to the Triumph Master Development Agreement for the Triumph subdivision. If you would like to comment on the 2 noticed items, 16A or 17A, you may do so during the public comment portion of the meeting. Yes, I know, it's next. Thank you. And next, Councilmember Whiting will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you all for being here. We are going to go right to information items and upcoming events with Mr. Reeves to provide that information to us.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Our city offices and public library will be closed on Friday, July 24th in observance of Pioneer Day. And because that Friday is closed, Thursday is kind of like our city's Friday. So it'll be a skeleton staff that will be here on that Thursday. We have fireworks that we're promoting at Utah Lake on July 24th at 10 p.m. There's been donations made, and there's going to be a barge on both sides of the lake. For more information about the fireworks, that is at fireworks at utahlake.com. And also too, we are, because of the dry conditions, going to be working with the state of Utah on a ban of fireworks at your residential homes and within the city limits. And so we encourage our community to go support this at Utah Lake. In addition to the celebration on the 24th, our city itself will be having a celebration on the 25th. It's called our Summer Bash. It's a laser show, and that'll be from 4 to 10 p.m. at Corey B. Wright Park. So great events both on the 24th and the 25th. Our back-to-school night is Saturday, August 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. at Corey B. Wright Memorial Park. And then we have a Truth and Taxation public hearing scheduled for August the 6th at 6 p.m., and we invite our public to attend.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. All right, now we've reached the public comment chunk of our agenda. Time has been set aside for the public to express their ideas, concerns, and comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes each. As a reminder, public comment is an opportunity for community members to address the City Council, and each speaker is allowed up to 3 minutes. If you wish to speak during public hearing portion, please complete a comment form located in the back and return it to the city recorder. So it's on the little table back there, and our city recorder's up here. Council members will listen but not engage in discussion during public comment. Disruptive behavior, personal attacks, or comments about individual city employees are not permitted. If you have issues or questions regarding staff or personnel, Deputy City Manager Steve Mumford will meet you in the foyer for further discussion. Lastly, public comment period is for items not associated with a scheduled public hearing. If your comment relates to a public hearing item, please wait until that item is called. And I had already announced that 16A and 17A do not have public hearings, but 15A, which is an ordinance of Eagle Mountain City, amending Eagle Mountain Municipal Code 16.20 for preliminary plats, 16.25 for final plats, and 17 site plan review regarding application requirements and cost estimates. So if you'd like to speak on that one, we ask that you'd wait until that public hearing takes place. Now, I will open the public comment period at 7:08 and invite anyone. Lacey, do you have some forms?
George Reed.
Awesome. Please come up, sir. Did you say George?
Yeah.
Yep, come on up. Thank you. Please state your name in the microphone.
My name is George Reed. I live on the 1148 East Ira Hodges Scenic Parkway. We have a very, very serious problem about speeding on that road. I spoke to the mayor at a friend's wedding. That was, 2 months ago? Nothing is being done. I talked to Mr. Salazar. I guess he's assistant engineer. He said that they're going to do a city study for speeding. We have had 4 studies done on Ira Hodges already. We've had the wires put across that road 4 times. I talked to Sergeant Gilstrap. He actually invited me to do a ride-along with him. And he had let me know that on the one study that they did, that there was at least 6 instances of people going 60 miles an hour on a 25-mile-an-hour road. I literally had 2 young men coming off of the street next to us. They were coming around a corner. We heard a bang. He skidded clear around the corner, hit my driveway, and skidded halfway up my driveway. Busted a wheel and knocked off 2 tires. Being the guy that I am, I fixed his car for him. I told him to leave it there and I would fix it for him. So I try to do everything I can to make things right. We do have petitions signed here. We have 50 names on this. They've talked about putting like a speed table. We need a speed bump, a speed dip, something to slow everybody down. It's just, it's out of control.
Yeah,
on that
thank you
road.
for bringing it to our attention. We'll invite you to give the petition to our city
One last
recorder.
thing, Ira
Go ahead.
Hodges was never meant to be a thoroughfare.
We know.
They put those 2 residential areas to the west of us.
Okay.
And so everybody has to come down that road. I would make a recommendation. It gets extremely bad as soon as school starts. That's going to be starting here in August. We would petition that something be done prior to the start of school. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Petition.
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your concern with us. All right, Lacey, who else do we have?
Shelley Anderson.
Shelley Anderson.
Shelley Anderson, 1176 Ira Hodges. We moved into our neighborhood almost 19 years ago. We've lived in Eagle Mountain for, help me, 29 years. We've been here a long time. We moved out here with the hopes of living in a small town, which we did for a long time. Moved into a bigger home because that's what we wanted for our family. We moved into an equestrian neighborhood because we own horses, and we love that. The equestrian neighborhood that we moved into was supposed to have a golf course behind it, which was going to be really cool. Fast forward today, we're getting high-density housing, I believe, behind us. And there's no sidewalks, and our neighborhood doesn't want sidewalks. Planning Commission, I think, kind of messed up. The road should be a lot wider, especially for all the traffic that has to go through there to get to the elementary, which we fought when that happened because it wasn't a good thorough way, and we lost that battle then. I thank you for everything you do. I don't want you to think that it goes unnoticed and it goes unappreciated. You guys do a lot, and I appreciate it. I'm going to ditto everything George said. I about got hit by a car last night, by a motorcycle. As I stood in the middle of the road and went like this, slow the heck down. He continued to come straight at me and then swerve around me. We've had cars swerve into the gravel pits off the road in front of our house. We had our mailbox plowed over by a minivan. A couple of years ago, we've had a gun pulled on a neighbor because he was mad at the guy speeding, and the guy pulled a gun on him. We've had 3 kids hit in our neighborhood. It's enough. The minute someone gets killed or wounded greatly, it's going to be a huge problem, and I want to save that from happening. Our horse happens to live across the street from us. I have 10 grandkids. First thing they do when they come over is want to go feed the horse. I've had cars swerve at my grandkids. I've had them speed as we walked to Arctic Circle to get ice cream cones. I watched a little kid wreck on his car, and cars pull over and honk at a little 5-year-old to get up and get out of their way in a crosswalk. It's enough. We've complained to the sheriff department multiple times. We have yelled and screamed at neighbors. I'm sure half my neighborhood hates me. I don't care. If I can save one life, if I can save one limb, it is worth it. It is time to act. I talked to Jared Norton. I'm sure you all know who he is. He's on Unified Fire. He said enough is enough. Speed bumps have to happen. Stop signs. I don't care if you put a stop sign on every 3-way in that neighborhood. People are fed up. It'd be
30
nice to
seconds
say
remaining.
everyone would be nice. If everyone could just be nice and slow down, it'd be great. That's not what's happening. It's getting worse and worse the more people that live there. So we would appreciate if you'd do something about it.
Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? Okay, so that's it for the forms that we have filled out. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to come up and share their thoughts? Go ahead. If you could fill out a form after you're done and make sure our recorder gets it, that would be great. Just start by stating your name in the microphone, please.
I'm Justin Hopkinson. I live on 872 East Waddell Street, just over from where they live. And so I got the other entrance to Mountain Trails Elementary. And yeah, when school starts, it's horrible. And I adopted a little boy from a cousin that's a heroin addict. Mm-hmm. So he's 6 years old now, has severe ADHD. I have to keep a death grip on him. Otherwise, he'll run out in the road. And there's some cars, new people that moved in, that these kids that are racing up and down the street, contractors that I've yelled at hundreds of times. And I walked out in front of one guy hauling a big load of material, and he yelled at me. He says, "You think I can stop?" I'm like, "Exactly. Look at this little boy. If he runs out in front of you, you're going to be able to stop for him." And it's out of control over there. And I've called numerous times the police to help us out, and it's out of control. And I'm scared for my little boy and all the other neighbor kids. And yeah, definitely during school time, the people are going the parents are out of control. They'll go into oncoming traffic to go around the long line to go pull in there. It's horrific.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else would like to give public comment? All right, we'll close public comment at 7:15. And as we do that, I think it's important just to set the expectation for our city manager that I think council would like a report back at our next meeting of how we're going to address Ira Hodges, and just give us kind of a return and report on that, because we can tell that it's a significant problem. So thank you.
Happy to do so.
Sure.
I asked the Mayor Pro Tem if I could speak to this for just a minute. I want you to know that this has been a concern of ours. We've tried fairly diligently to find some resolution to several places in the city, and Ira Hodges is one of them. In this budget cycle, this past budget cycle, we actually funded $200,000 worth of speed tables. And one of the areas very specifically that we targeted is Ira Hodges. I want you to know that we've set money aside for that to happen. We are waiting for our staff to finish up a report, which we should have in the next week or two. That's the anticipation, to make sure that the traffic tables that we think are the best solution, that our engineering team agrees with us. If there's something different that they recommend, we'll certainly keep you in the loop. But we're very aware of that, and you're not alone in that concern. There are several other areas that are adjacent to elementary schools that are really awful in the city, and we're concerned about it citywide. We're not going to take comments, or I just want to give you an update. But I want you to know that we're very aware of it, and that we're as concerned about it as you are. I've been to your home, I've seen that, I've watched it, so, and I think that our staff is really great at listening to us and understanding, but what they don't often get the chance to do is to come sit and meet with the residents and to hear those concerns that you just shared. So thank you for sharing your thoughts, Shelley, and the rest of you. Anyway, I wanted you to know that we're very cognizant of it, that we are making some forward progress for the first time in the 5 years I've been here, 4.5 years I've been here. We've actually allocated resources, and we're making some adjustments.
Thank you, Councilmember Wright. All right, now time has been set aside for City Council and Mayor to make comments. Let's go ahead and start with Councilmember Hewish.
Thank you, Pro Tem Mayor Clark. Government just never moves fast enough. That's the one thing I've learned sitting here and being on that side, that there's clearly a need all throughout our city, and I just echo what Councilmember Wright has said. If I could show up tomorrow with the speed table, I'd probably just put it in. But we want to make sure that the engineering's right, that we're allocating resources in the highest problem areas, and your concerns are valid and are heard. Appreciate all that our staff do. I'm amazed at all the different projects we have going on. It's a pretty vast machine that's being built in Eagle Mountain. We have a lot of infrastructure projects going in. We've got water being built, sewers being built, lots of infrastructure, and I'm just grateful. It's amazing that how a city works and functions, and I appreciate all that you do. And look forward to tonight's comments and agenda items.
Thank you, Councilmember Hewish. Councilmember Wood.
I'm probably not going to be as warm and fuzzy as Zach was. But hearing you guys say that just makes me more mad about our inaction, frankly. I mean, when it happens, everybody's going to go, oh my gosh, let's hurry and try to fix the problem. And I do not make the excuse that government can't go fast enough. That is a lie. I'm sorry, it is a lie. We can. We have the resources to do it. It is our unwillingness to do things that are out of character of what everybody thinks we should do. And I'm upset. The same problem exists in 3 or 4 other neighborhoods where elementary schools are. It's unacceptable, and I am sorry that we have not acted. It's inexcusable, and I can promise you that those who are dragging their feet, if it was in front of their house, it would already be built.
All right, Councilmember Whiting.
So I heard multiple times, we worked with the sheriff's office on this, that, and the other. You're all just giving the reasons for a tax increase. We need more public safety officers, and it's pretty evident. I think the ones we have are doing a great job. We just need more of them because we've grown a lot as a city, and it costs money for them to come in. And so, the tax increase is going to be discussed here soon and voted on. And one thing that I'm looking forward to with these additional, public safety officers is we may be able to get more patrol happening in neighborhoods, especially to help with speeding and things like that. And I can't speak to prior studies that were done. All I can speak is the studies happening now, and I can speak to the resolve of the council that sits up before you to solve these problems, and it's going to happen. So you can feel the energy that's coming right here. It's going to happen. We'll bring solutions and as fast as we can. So anyway, we're grateful for the public comes out and gives us insights and comments because we need your eyes and need you with us. Help us make better decisions. One last thing I'll mention: be on the lookout for a new half marathon that will be here in Cedar Valley. We are in the works to make this happen on October 3rd. More information is going to be coming out. It will be the I Believe in You Run Cedar Valley, and it's going to be in partnership with Ben Line and we'll be carrying signs, and we're going to have a run here that it's going to be epic. It's going to be a combined effort between Cedar Fort and Eagle Mountain City, who will be both co-sponsoring. It's going to be pretty epic to bring our community together. And money from that is going to be going toward the volunteer fire department that Cedar Fort has, as well as our volunteer police services here as well. These are some of the things where people say, well, you know, we want you to manage differently so you don't have to raise taxes as much. Well, this is one of those efforts to bring in money from businesses and other people who are willing to, the running community, to where we can then have that money flow into some of our public safety as well. We are looking at other ways to do that. And in this case, it's going to help with those items I just mentioned, and then also help with unity and mindset and mentality in this valleys. And I'm really excited about that. So more details will be coming out about that.
Thank you, Councilmember Whiting. Councilmember Wright?
Well, I took a minute, but I'll just add one thing that I'd like you to be aware of. The seniors are putting on kind of a food drive for the pantry, and I just want to read a list of items. So if you have these or are willing to donate them to the food pantry that's in our Eagle Mountain Library here just behind us. Flour, granulated sugar, vegetable oil, iodized salt, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, baking powder and soda, white vinegar, and also helpful in the pantry would be peanut butter, canned tuna or meat, canned milk, canned vegetables, canned soups, packaged pasta, oatmeal, hot cereal, white or brown rice. I just think it's important to remember that there are those in our community that have food insecurities, and anything we can do, those of us that perhaps have a little bit that we can donate, those are the types of items that they're looking for this month. I wanted to make that announcement. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you all for being here. I really appreciate your neighborhood coming out and sharing some of those very personal concerns and experiences. We do need to do better, and I think we're working toward that. And I'm grateful that no one's been hurt in the way that we've talked about. I appreciate you talking about life and limb, and sometimes neighbors get mad because you have to stand up for what's important. So thank you for coming out for that. And I thank all of my fellow council members for the things that they've shared. We have some cool things going on in our community right now, and we have a really cool communications department that's trying really hard to make sure our residents are informed of what's going on. One thing that our Community Services Board has been working on is a bingo card. And it's a bingo card that goes from like Pony Express days all the way to basically the end of the year. And there's prizes and different things that different people are going to be donating for people who complete their bingo card. But if you missed one of the items on the bingo card, there's a QR code on there with some like makeup items. And we encourage you, it's a really fun way to celebrate our 30th anniversary as a city, and to participate in that. And that's all I have to say. I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda, making the minor adjustments to the minutes as noted during work session.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve the consent agenda with the spelling corrections to the minutes as noted in the work session.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Whiting and a second from Councilmember Wright. We'll begin the vote with me. Yes?
Yes.
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 Thank you. That passes. All right, so now we get to go on to the scheduled items. So the first item is a motion to reconsider, and that is going to be presented by Lacey Messerly, our city recorder.
Council, this was the land disposal that came to you last August. It was approved with criteria on option 1 where all of the residents were to participate in the plat amendment, and we have had a hard time getting a hold of one of them, so we're bringing it back for a motion to reconsider. We've talked about this at length, so the applicant is here to answer any questions. If you want to start with the questions, we can go from there.
Awesome. I know that there are questions because I've had a chance to talk to some of our different council members. Councilmember Wright, are you ready with your questions?
Yeah. I have a couple of questions. When we talked about this most recently, it seemed that there was one holdout. In looking at the amended plat, it looks like there may be 2. Is that accurate?
Yes, there is one who is getting a divorce, I believe. Sorry, I turned you off. Can you explain that one a little bit more about applicant who is going through a divorce right now.
Yeah, so she is still planning on buying. She's still buying now. She just cannot, she can't incorporate it until October next year. And so she still would pay and everything and own it. She just can't incorporate it yet. So there's only one holdout that we haven't been able to.
Well, so I guess my question then, Jesse, is that lot 63 is shown in the amended plat with that portion behind their lot as not part of their property. And lot 66, am I reading that correctly?
Yes, so 63, the one that's closer to the end?
No, 66 is the third lot in, and 63 is in 6 lots, it looks like.
Okay, so 66 is the one where it's not showing as a part of her lot because it can't be a part of her lot yet. She has to own it separately. And then the other one is the person we can't get a hold of.
So she's going to purchase it
Yes.
then, so, okay, that makes sense. It's just separated
Yes.
so that it has a different parcel number.
Yes.
That makes more sense to me. And then can you tell me what the portion is that's identified as POSIF? And I'm not, or 1F maybe is what it is. It's a piece of property that's adjacent or right behind lots 267 and 266. And I believe that's the Moody's
path.
home.
Yeah, so that's just the part that was designated. There was 20 feet we had to leave open for a path.
Okay, so that is for the path, and the city is maintaining ownership of
Yes.
that. Okay, those were my questions. Other than that, I think it's fine.
Awesome.
Any other questions from council? All right, this is not a public hearing, so I'll entertain a motion on this.
I'm a little confused as to what we need to do on this. Do we need a motion to reconsider it and then?
No, the item's already on for reconsideration. That happened when 3 council members sent a written statement to the mayor asking that it be reconsidered. So at this point, procedurally, what we need to do is make a motion to, if you're inclined to approve it, make a motion to approve it and changing the conditions from what they originally were.
Okay. Do we want to have a discussion about what that looks like?
Sure.
Does anybody have consternation about removing the one lot, which is, it seems that 63 then is the one that is going to be removed, Jesse? And 66 is still part of that because they're going to purchase it, right?
Yes, they're still going to purchase, so it's just that one.
And what about the time frame? Because I know the time frame has kind of been adjusted. How much time do we need to get this done?
To get it as far as an agreement done and all that.
Yeah. How much time should we, because we're talking about changing the time frame because it's expired.
Yeah,
right?
so, I mean, at this point, we have an amended plat that would have to go through the process.
We need 6 months? How long?
6
do we
months
need?
is more than enough time.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Will that include, because with the last one, it was moving the fence within a certain amount of time, but we're going to hit winter now. So I don't know if we need to adjust that because we had 6 months from the date of the motion from the last time to move our fences.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, Councilmember Wood saying, why don't we give them 9 months? Does anybody disagree with that?
So we're having,
Rich, can you turn your mic on when you're talking?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm just saying that, they're gonna be dealing with frozen ground, so give them a year. What difference does it make?
it sounds like council's good with giving them a year. Are there any other questions about what the motion needs to entail?
I'll take a stab at it.
Thank you.
I know I'm probably going to mess it up, but Marcus will correct me, or somebody to my right will, maybe somebody to my left will fix it. I move that we approve the disposal of 1.56 acres of designated significant real property in Utah County parcel number 49, ;601, ;0080, pursuant to EMMC 3.30, .060 and 3.30.070 with the following changes to the original agreement, that we extend the timeline to for this to be done within a year, and that we remove the requirement of lot 63 to participate in the agreement and allow the other remaining 15 property owners to do so.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Wright and a second from Councilmember Hewish. Are there any questions from staff or discussion, city council?
Does it need anything else, Marcus?
I think we're okay.
Okay.
Okay. Seeing none else, we'll go ahead and begin the vote. Councilmember Whiting?
Yes.
Councilmember Wood?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well. So that motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the next one. You guys, there's like a legit 3-ring binder up here, so there's a lot to get. Okay, all right, so we're moving on to the next item, and this one is the public hearing. It's an ordinance of Eagle Mountain City, Utah, amending the Eagle Mountain Municipal Code Section 16.20 preliminary plats, 16.25 final plats, and 17.100 site plan review regarding application requirements and cost estimates. And Brandon Larson has
Yes.
the presentation for this.
Thank you. This is, as I noted in the earlier meeting, this is part of our effort to clean up our application process, particularly the front end of our application process. And as you noted, it's for preliminary plats, final plats, and site plans. We found that we've typically required a cost estimate towards the latter end of the approval process. And actually after the approval process, and it ends up creating a situation where when we're going to generate bond estimates, we've found occasion where the information we needed wasn't readily available. So we think it's, we believe, and based on my own experience, and I've worked in another subdivision process where we required the cost estimate at the front of the process, and it really was helpful in planning for improvements and just understanding the improvements that were required, and also for preparing the bonds. So we feel like this is a good improvement. We feel like this information's already being. We don't think it's going to be a big ask for an engineer and the developers, because they already have this information. We're just asking for them to give it to us earlier, so we can really facilitate a little bit smoother development process for them. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Thank you, Brandon. Does council have any questions? All right, this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open the public hearing at 7:34 and invite anyone who has a burning desire to speak about this item to come up to the front. No one would like to speak? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing also at 7:34 and call for a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that the city council approve agenda item 15A.
Is that enough in the motion?
Yes.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion from Councilmember Whiting and a second from Councilmember Wood. We'll start the vote with Councilmember Wood.
Yes.
Councilmember Hewish.
Yes.
Councilmember Wright.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark is a yes. Councilmember Whiting.
Yes.
That passes. All right, thank you. Moving on to 17A. This is a. 16. Oh, sorry, skipped it. Thank you. It's, the only thing we took out was the public hearing part of it, so thank you. 16A is an ordinance of Eagle Mountain City amending the Eagle Mountain Municipal Code 8.15.070, and Mickey will be presenting to us. So we'll just invite her to get set up and share her presentation.
It's going to be a very short presentation. I'm just going to show you the actual code language. And Councilmember Wright, you are right, with a W. I did mix it up, so when if we do approve, we'll need to switch the 10 p.m. to 5:30. And I'm glad that you caught that, because the double negative went right over my head. So this is just a code amendment moving the Eagle Mountain Code to be aligned with the state code changes. And it's really just limited to, we can't regulate the public or private golf courses from doing maintenance activities as it relates to noise between the hours of 5:30 a.m. and 10 p.m. So the exception would be 10 p.m. to 5:30 a.m.
Awesome, thank you. Does council have any questions besides that one update to it? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve agenda item 16A.
All right.
Well, as presented, yes.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Whiting
Second?
and a second from Councilmember Hewish. We'll begin the vote with
Can
Council.
I just ask that we clarify that in the red line, that below item number 2, golf courses, that it be switched from 10 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. We just switched those two timeframes.
I was just going to raise that issue.
Let's make sure we do that,
Okay.
okay?
Do you need the motion specifically to say that?
I'll withdraw my motion.
With the
Councilmember Wright.
Okay, then if you're going to withdraw your motion, then I will make a new motion, and let me get to where I need to be to do that. Oh, sorry, Councilmember Clark, where is it? I move that the Eagle Mountain City Council adopt or approve an ordinance amending the Eagle Mountain Municipal Code 8.15.070 with the following change to the red line. The last item under number 2 for the golf course, that the times be reversed so that it's 10 p.m. to 5:30 a.m.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Wright. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second from Councilmember Hewish. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, no discussion, we'll start the vote with Councilmember Hewish.
Yes.
Councilmember Wright.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark is a yes. Councilmember Whiting.
Yes.
Councilmember Wood.
Yes.
And that passes. All right, now we're moving on to 17A, and this is Rob Hobbs that will be coming up to present on this item. This is a discussion / possible action. Would be an approval of the Second Amendment to the Triumph Master Development Agreement for the Triumph subdivision. And Mr. Hobbs.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. As discussed in work session, we have a request by developer to amend a master development plan and agreement that was created with the Triumph project in 2022. Developer is seeking to create 4 pods, if you will, ranging from about 3.5 to 4 acres, 3 to 4.5 acres, right in that range, with some flexibility to be afforded to the project to facilitate the use of smaller than normal lots in the foothill residential zone to basically grant or get an exception to the buffering standards that we have in the code for sizing of properties, to also associate with that have reduced setback allowances, and finally to have private streets that would be built to a certain form of city standard in terms of the sub-road bed, et cetera, but not in terms of right-of-way width. Open air parking is proposed, and staff has also the council seen in the past representations of at least 3 prototype houses that could be put into the development. If the project is successful in providing attainable housing, I expect the applicant will be able to move on and develop his other pods that he has in concept form. We discussed the water issue earlier, where the applicant is not going to be asking the city for water, and also that they will be helping to orchestrate with deed restrictions the ability of folks to apply to purchase properties in this development. Staff recommends this project for your consideration and approval, and stands for questions.
Thank you. And just as a reminder, this was originally noticed as a public hearing, but it does not need a public hearing. So just as a reminder, in case somebody's wondering with that, what kind of questions does council have?
So, okay, one question. So so looking at the whole concept as opposed to just the affordable housing lots, the lots outside of that, I think they are supposed to average a half acre. Is that correct? The remainder, and is that still the case with the lots that are still outside of the affordable housing? Do they still average a half acre?
Triumph Phase A, Plat 1, has just come in, and it takes into account the lots to the northeast, basically, of the pod that you see on the screen right now. And so with that, we'll start reviewing it, but as the other final plats come in, then we will look for conformance to that standard. And if there's a need to exercise some bit of change, then the developer, I'm sure, will propose something that the city can review.
Okay. Any other questions from council? There were a lot of things that we discussed about this in our work session. Is it at a point where we could make a motion and direct some things?
I've got some commentary on the language that would, so maybe some comments and some, I don't know if you want me to bring that up now or not.
Yeah, we'd love to hear
Okay,
it.
section, so looking at the deed restriction, 2.05, it uses the word conjunctive, and I believe that it was intended to be injunctive. So I think we need to change that word. 3.06 has two 3.06s, and so the numbering is incorrect after that. So that would need to get changed as well. If you look at 4.04, it references Article 5, but I believe that it was intended to reference Article 4. And actually, let's see, did I say that on 5.01? So that's 4.04. There's that error in 5.01. I believe also it references Article 5 when I believe it's meant to reference Article 4. And then, let's see here. That one. So Articles 4.04 and 5.01 both reference Article 5 in the verbiage when I think they intend to reference Article 4.
You're not hearing the stuff on the microphone, but we're just helping the person who's making the motion get all the details, so.
And then there, shoot, I gotta find this in all my notes here. 7.02, the word foreclosure is misspelled in the last sentence of 7.02. See. Okay, and those are the corrections. Then I've just got some,
There's one
perhaps
more.
some questions.
Sorry,
Yeah.
there's one more correction, and then we'll head to your questions. In the amendment, section 2.2.5, it talks about, it spells out the words 53, but then puts the numerals for 56, and it should just be 53 and 53, because when this was approved, that's what our standards were, or at least set so that they match each other. It's not a big one, but I wanted to make sure we brought that one up. Okay, Councilmember Whiting, what are your other thoughts?
And this is just maybe for clarification in the contract. So I think it's section 6.02, if I remember right, that it says the city can delegate numerous aspects of the administration of the deed restriction to other entities, and does say accepting a few different things. And I just want to make sure that Article 4 cannot be delegated by the city. And Article 4 does, and I think the verbiage is probably in that section, but Article 4 is what specifies that the city from time to time could modify various aspects of it, including the multiplier that's used and pretty much many other things in there. I just want to make sure that Article 4 is not something that could be considered that could be delegated elsewhere. And then on section, let's see, 3.04, it mentions some aspects, some circumstances in which a transfer could occur without qualifying income. And I know it's stated above in a prior section, if someone receives ownership on a transferred basis where qualified income was not used, I still want that person to know there is a primary occupancy required. So let's say a father passes away and wills the property to the son. The son doesn't live there. Well, at that point, it's a breach. So in other words, the son's going to have to sell.
So are you saying that there should be a due on sell clause in here?
Well, just a reminder that if you receive if you receive the property through one of these ways stated in where it's not a qualified, where you don't need to check income, you still have to, if you received ownership, you still got to live there as a primary occupant.
So we gotta put that into verbiage here. So
Yeah.
what's the best way to do that? You're gonna say the requirement, so it's transferred by death, heirs, whatever that might be. There's a requirement to be a primary,
You still, yeah, if you're the
and
recipient.
if not, then it should trigger what, a due on sale? Or a requirement to sell?
It
Not due on
would.
sale, sorry.
It would, yes.
So how, we probably need to put some language in there.
You know, I mean,
I understand and I agree.
and it may, you know, it's probably, if you look at other areas of the whole deed, it says in all cases, this has to be primary ownership occupied. But I think in this specific section, it would be useful to reference, because I could see this happening where someone dies, it now passes, like, let's say I'm living there, I will it to one of my kids who's not living there, I die. The kid's gonna now own it, not living there. I think it's nice in this section to state, you're gonna have to sell it because you're not living there.
Or move to that location.
Or move into it.
Just that there is a requirement that it be, that it be owner occupied.
Yeah, do we need to add in a lot more language or just clarify the very specific requirement of owner occupancy?
Yeah. So I think 3.04, just stating that if someone receives title under section 3.04 that.
How does this language work? Notwithstanding the foregoing, this section, this is the very last sentence would be added. This section does not alter, change, or otherwise affect the owner occupancy requirement.
That sounds awesome.
Awesome.
Leave it to the attorney to make it simple.
Thank you, Marcus. All right, so do you have any other items on your list?
Let me see.
And Councilmember Wood, I hope that you're getting ready to make this motion. Okay, does anyone else have thoughts that they'd like to share before, well, Councilmember Whiting's finding the rest of his thoughts?
Oh.
You ready?
So here's the other question I want to ask the council. Is the LMI homebuyer definition 80% of AMI or less at the time of contract? In my mind, it should be at the time of closing. Because what if they go under contract with whatever income, and during the contract period, you get a promotion? Are we still going to let that person close? They're now above the 80% AMI. So, and maybe this is an underwriting thing. Maybe underwriters are maybe we just go back to what the underwriters are doing on this.
I think we go with contract.
So at the time of contract,
Sure.
So you don't really care what happens during the contract period?
In the life of these properties over time, it's going to always revert back to the AMI.
Look,
assuming they sell.
I mean, I'm going to speak not from the real estate side of things. And I'm grateful that you two are digging into the details of the deed restriction. And I asked you to do that, Craig, and I'm grateful you did. I knew you would. From my perspective, at the time of a contract is okay for this reason, because if something changes in that time frame, and certainly it could, does it really matter? Because I think what we want to do is give assurance to the developer that he has a qualified applicant, that there's funding in place to make this happen, and my anticipation is that these are going to all happen boom, 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 boom.
Unless that is a requirement of underwriting and now they don't qualify.
Because so do they pull income verification like at contract and then at closing?
Yeah, well, you're not going to lock into anything until you're close to the end of especially with this being a build. In the very beginning, for sure, it's not going to be till the end, right? In the resale, that's not the case, but you have two problems, right?
Well, that's a good question.
Abby Ivory is giving us an indication that she has some information to share. She's also a mortgage broker. Is that what you are? So we're just loaded down with them. Okay, we've got a little bit of input here.
So I do. I have experience I'm a current mortgage broker. I own my own company, so I do have a little bit of knowledge about this. I've been doing loans since 2001. So they will only get qualified for income one time. So by the time closing comes around, they just try and see if they're still employed. So they're not going to check income again. But you could say at the time of contract, just like you would at anything else, their ability to qualify for something would be at contract. But you wouldn't really have to do anything more than that.
Okay.
So you're not doing income verification at the end?
They do it as part of the process, part of the loan process, but when you get ready to close, all they're doing is just making sure that they're actually still employed. So they're just doing a verbal verification of employment. They don't check income again, even if they're in some kind of affordable housing program. They just can't keep doing that over and over. So they just do it once.
Any other questions for our expert mortgage broker?
The layman had it right. So.
All right, thank you for sharing your insights.
I have a
Councilmember Whiting.
question, just timing wise, this would be for the applicant. Are you building and selling them as, like, in other words, typically is this going to be a 30-day close? Or are you going under contract before the lot the home comes out of the ground?
The intention is we may release these right towards the end when some colors or textures could be chosen.
So 60
but this is not
days.
like a pre-sold build job. These are spec homes. We don't really want to deal with the buyer through the construction process. We're going to choose everything. Our designer will pick most everything. So some might have a choice on maybe carpet or flooring or paint color. But there shouldn't be any kind of, I don't know how I would verify any kind of subsequent disqualification, Craig, if they qualified at the beginning and then 30 days later when they're ready to close, I don't even know how I would check it again, because the process to vet them in the beginning is pretty significant. And I don't know that we would do that again 3 or 4 or 5 weeks later. So it's a pretty short time frame from when we vet them and approve them to when they're closing on the home. Yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments from council?
Yes, so more for your motion here. So I believe that council member, right, I think there was a discussion with the applicant regarding what was going to be included with the home. So full landscaping, full fencing, was that also, or just landscaping?
The list.
Sure, just so we can.
So purchase price inclusions that could be included in the development agreement. Full landscaping front and back, fencing.
Can we state water-wise landscaping?
It is water-wise landscaping, yes. Water-wise landscaping. All appliances, including refrigerator, washer, and dryer, and all window coverings.
That includes a microwave?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just want, all appliances?
Well, back in the day, I remember selling homes in Eagle Mountain where there was no air conditioning condenser unit. I remember that. Some of those just, you want the air conditioner? That's sold additional.
They'll all have AC and condenser units.
Thank you.
And furnaces.
Electric ranges.
Most likely, yes.
Okay, and then another on your motion that the approval would have pertained to pod 1, but I don't know if pod 1's defined as to which of those 4 pods it is.
Yeah, it's the northernmost pod.
Northernmost.
So that's the first cluster. It's the only one that we've actually designed.
Okay.
The other ones we'll show you as we go because our product mix might change up a little bit. Each lot is specific for the footprint of the home, just for maximum efficiency. So they'll kind of evolve a little bit as we go into the others. And we've only fully designed 3 plans. We will design and engineer more when, if this is a go. So.
And 14.
That was phase 1?
Yes. Well, it won't be in our first plat. It'll be in plat 2.
Plat 2 thing.
Yeah.
All right, before I entertain a motion, I'm going to invite John Magnus to start making his way up because we're going to get you in a second. We've got a record to break. Okay. I will be texting Mayor Gray to let him know. Anyway, Councilmember Hewish, did you have another item? Sorry.
We got it.
You got it covered. Okay.
Is there anything
All
we
right.
need to say about the water? Was there any other additional?
I put that in here, 3.1. So let me read these to you, then everybody can make whether we agree or not. What was in 2.25? That one you went too fast on.
Conjunctive, injunctive?
No, that is under 2.05. What was 2?
That was changing 53 feet to 53 feet within the brackets, which, I've already done, so.
All right.
I've never seen this one. Okay, so 2.25, change 50 to the words 53 feet and the number in parentheses 53 feet to match. 3.1, to specify as long as RDA funds are available for the purchase of the water in the deed restriction and affordability covenant. Articles 2, 2.05, conjunctive change to injunctive. Article 3, 3.02. What was the one? I got that down, but I don't remember what that was.
Was that the fixed numbering one?
No. Let's see.
3.02.
I have.
Oh, this was the question that we talked about in the previous meeting about who is going to be the person to administer the deed restriction. Do we want to leave it as it is? Do we want to have that changed to something else?
I'm comfortable with it as is. I think it gives us the chance of choosing, right? But I didn't have any questions on it.
You guys good with the language in that one?
I didn't have any questions
Yeah,
on 3.02.
especially since we'll get to see it again after, when they go to pod 2.
Take that one out. Okay, Article 3, 3.04, as changes stated by our Eagle Mountain City Attorney, including owner occupancy requirement. Article 4, 4.04, and 5.01 to reference Article 4 instead of Article 5 in the amendment to the MDA to include amenities, fencing, water-wise landscaping, all appliances that include washer, dryer, microwave range, and refrigerator. And then approvals applicable to the northernmost pod in Plat 2.
Okay, and then the numbering from 3.06 onward, the numbers are incorrect. So fix the numbering from 3.06 forward. And then.
Is that in the amendment?
That's in the deed restriction.
In the deed restriction. Hang on just a sec. Fix numbering from 3. What?
3.06.
3.06 onward.
Onward, okay.
And then I think 6.02 is probably what you were looking for at. So 6.02, that it will specifically specify that Article 4 cannot be, that the city cannot delegate the terms of Article 4.
All right. Would a motion
Hang
that-
on just a second.
Okay.
I want to make sure I got it. So Article 6, 6.02, city cannot delegate.
Article 4.
It was in Article 4, 6.02?
It's 6.02, Article 4. Can't be delegated, right?
That doesn't make sense.
Delegation of enforcement authority.
It'd have to be Article 6, because they're numbered that way.
All right.
Okay, Article 6, 6.02, city cannot delegate authority. Is that correct?
They cannot delegate, let's see, its responsibilities under Article 4. Because Article 4 gives an ability to do a whole bunch of changes. It gives the city unilateral ability to do that. And we don't want to delegate that right to anybody else under the delegation of authority mentioned in 6.02.
Okay, so Article 6, 6.02, city cannot delegate its responsibilities under Article 4.
Correct.
Okay, does the motion need to state all the things that he just stated, or can the motion say as stated?
No, I'm going to say them all. I want it
Okay.
to be clear.
All right, go for it.
Let me just do a quick organization here.
This is Rich we're talking about.
Okay, yeah, I did one motion 6 times in a row last time, just so we're clear. Mayor Pro Tem, will you entertain a motion?
Yes.
I move that the city council approve an approval of Second Amendment to the Triumph Master Development Agreement for the Triumph subdivision with the following changes. In the Triumph MDA Second Amendment, adding the language for included amenities to be fencing, water-wise landscaping, all appliances including washer, dryer, microwave, range, refrigerator. This is specific to the northernmost pod in Plat 2 only for approvals. In 2.25 of the amendment, change the spelling from 53 feet and parentheses 53 feet to match. In 3.1, specifying the RDA funds, the purchase of water as long as RDA funds are available. Moving to the deed restriction and affordability covenant, fixed numbering from 3.06 onward. Article 2, 2.05, change conjunctive to injunctive. Article 3, 3.04, making changes as stated by the city attorney, including an owner occupancy requirement at the end. Article 4, 4.04, and 5.01 to reference Article 4 instead of Article 5. And Article 6, 6.02, city cannot delegate its responsibilities under Article 4.
And one more item real quick. If you'll take an amendment, Article 7.02, that foreclosure is misspelled in the last sentence, to correct the spelling.
All right, so we have a motion.
Second.
With an assist from Councilmember Wood with some assistance, and then a second from Councilmember Wright. Are there any questions or
I
discussion?
didn't finish my motion, you jumped.
Oh, okay.
Article 7, foreclosure is misspelled.
Second.
Thank you for that clarity, Councilmember Wood. All right, so we have a motion from Councilmember Wood, a very fastidious motion, and a second from Councilmember Wright. Are there any discussions left that we need to have about this particular motion?
I think just a statement for me in that this is a test. This is not setting precedents anywhere else in the city. That there's not an expectation, I think, for anyone else. This or just circumstances where we'll turn a bunch of half-acre communities into affordable housing. This is just we're going to try this out and see what's happening in this specific circumstance. It's a unique circumstance, and that this action today is not intending to set some kind of a precedence.
Thank you for that addition. Any other questions or comments? All right, we'll begin the vote with Councilmember Wright.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark is a yes.
Yes.
Whiting was a yes. Go ahead, Councilmember Wood.
Yes.
Councilmember Hewitt.
Yes.
All right, that's 5 yeses, and that passes. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to invite our Management and Policy Analyst, John Magnus, up to provide us with an update.
It's an important one.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. We're going to make this short and quick. One of the legislative priority items that we had on there was from Councilmember Wood, was about when we get the development agreements and they come back at the last minute and want changes. I talked to the city attorney. Basically, parties to a contract can try to renegotiate at any point in time. Trying to make a blanket statement saying we're going to deny it would not be a good policy because it's a one-size-fits-all, and maybe there is a reason they need to come back and we need to work with them. So I'm looking for direction. Do we take it off the list? I mean,
I'm going to be honest with you, I can't even remember talking about this. I'm trying to remember why this was a big deal.
This has to do with
I think it's Eagle Quest East was kind of the instigator for them coming back, and others that have come back.
Waiting to the very last minute before it expires or whatever.
I mean, we can create a policy, but we're just not, the council's not under any obligation to actually follow that policy, because if they, under the circumstances, say, in this case, it actually makes sense to renegotiate the development agreement at the last minute, then they would just do that, because parties can always amend a contract, as long as they're both parties are willing. And it's just hard to enforce such a policy, because, again, if under the circumstances the city council at the time wants to do it, they'll do it. And if they don't, they won't. And if somebody comes in last minute and that's the reason they deny it, then that's the reason they deny it. If somebody comes, somebody comes early on and they still want to deny it, they'll still deny it. It's just really hard to bind future council action in that way, especially when you don't know the given circumstances for why it's being asked for in the first place.
I'm trying to remember what I wanted out of that, and honestly, that didn't provide any clarity to me. I don't even remember, so probably take it off because I can't recall why.
You were very frustrated at the fact that they were coming at the last minute, and you wanted, because it wasn't the first time this has ever happened to the city. It wasn't the last time, and probably will keep going
They
forward.
keep coming back for more extensions or something. I
Yeah,
can't remember
and
what
so
it was. Okay.
creating a blanket policy is problematic because maybe there is
Hey,
legitimate reasons.
John, I
to-
could have been wrong. It's possible, so maybe just take it off.
Okay.
All right.
I said maybe.
Now
I
we're
love it.
going to jump over to the council's legislative priority for state legislation. Evan's going to give a quick presentation, then I'll follow that up with someone else.
Cool.
Lightning round, Evan Barrett.
Yeah, we're gonna just tag team real quick. I'm just kind of inserting myself here just to kind of, this kind of came as we did our agenda prep meeting. Councilmember Clark kind of brought up the fact that John and I kind of have this understanding of what the process should look like or could look like for trying to prepare the city council for the next upcoming state legislation round. We want to make sure that we're proactively preparing for that. We have your priorities in order and prioritized and everything like that, and that we're working well as a team. But like I said, John and I have an idea of what that looked like, but we didn't actually convey that to you to make sure that you're on board with that. So I just have some printed versions of what that looks like. So just to run through this really quick, because we've been through some of this already, and feel free to modify this or provide any feedback, but we've broken this down into basically 3 phases here. Again, we're looking at this as like a year-round process because this keeps coming around and around and around, right? And so John had already reached out to you a while ago, worked and met with you individually to get some of your individual feedback as far as certain issues that you wanted to bring up, any sort of concerns, any sort of things that you want to tackle at the state level. And so that was meant to really give an opportunity not just to hear what you had to say, but also work with us to say, hey, this is something that's of concern, but I need to know more. So let's do some research together. Let's work out some things. Let's collaborate on that. And so all that information came back to John and I, and then we work with our lobbying team to also vet with them any information they know or any advice that they have. We're at this point now with the prioritization phase where we're coming to you, and John will get back up and present with what has been collected from each of you individually, but we want to start prioritizing those things. What do we really want to focus on? We also want to do this with you on a regular basis, this kind of phase, this prioritization phase, multiple times over the next few months as we get closer to January, so that as new issues come up, as new things change or whatnot, that we're re-looking at that prioritization and constantly preparing for that. Once we have that, everything solidified and finalized, and we have all our preparations in place, then we divide and conquer, but still coordinate, where John and I work on putting together a lot of the code writing, the legislative one-pagers, all the different materials that go into supporting our lobbyist team. The lobbyist team then becomes, I like to put it, our strike team. They're the ones that go out and get a lot of the work done, along with John and I, but also the mayor and the council as well. And then in that last part of it, at the full council at the bottom, we obviously want to make sure that we're reporting back on outcomes as they happen, and at the final part of that. This whole thing is meant to be not necessarily linear. You can cycle back through. If there's other things you want to talk about individually, you want to get research on, whatever, we can do that. But in my mind, this is how it's all meant to be laid out. We want to take individual interests and things like that, but then we also want to make sure that we're all working together towards agreed upon and cohesive goals so that we're not all over the place. And this is also not to say that if the council sets a priority for things and something that you individually really feel passionate about is not listed on that priority at the end of the day, it doesn't mean you can't go out and still push for that. We'll still support you and whatever you need to do that. That just may not be the full city's resources pushed towards for that. So,
just how my mind works, yeah. I like to categorize things. When you guys are going and looking at what bills are coming out, how is that presented to you? Are you pulling that information from committees? Where are you getting, is that where it's coming from, is committees?
As far
At
as
the
like
state level?
where the bills come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're in a really much better position than we've ever been now, just because we've been at the Capitol, we've been participating with the committees, we've been working very close with the league, the cities and towns and whatnot, and so John and I have been at the committee meetings, making sure we're hearing it there, we're having opportunities to talk with the committee members and things like that, and
So that kind of lends to the next part of my question then.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's hard when you come to us and say, well, what matters to you?
Yeah.
And having that question posed to you and you're trying to go, okay, you know, of all the different categories, what things matter? For me, at least, it would be helpful as you're going through this process, you guys are probably separating things out. Say, okay, these are in education, these are in, you know, whatever they might be. If you could share it with us in that format, I think it would probably help us facilitate the conversation better to you to say, oh, education, yeah, I remember this is something that mattered to me. I want to talk about this, or this is transportation, you know, B&C roads or whatever. I think that helps us to give you better input rather than on the spot, we kind of freeze and go, you know, I don't know, you just tell us what you think is important. But I think you need help too to say, okay, what should we focus on? Because you can't focus on everything. But maybe that's just one of the suggestions I would make. And we have the ability, I mean, AI is a powerful thing to help us to be able to go through and summarize some of those things, so you're not spending all your time chasing some of those things. We can do some of those things, but if we at least understood, you know, here, we're gonna go look at the committees, so the Transportation Committee, the Government Affairs Committee, you know, whatever those might be, here are the bills that they're looking at doing. That gives us the ability to come back to you and say, this one's important, this one's important.
No, I appreciate that feedback, and you mentioned AI briefly. John can talk about it a lot more, but we do have access to a great tool that is dedicated specifically for this purpose, which actually allows freeing up a lot of John's time so that we can be a little bit more, again, proactive, but there's the one side of this where there are bills being created right now, there's bill files open, there's legislation being written, and so on that side, we're somewhat reactionary to those things. We're trying to see what can we do to influence, to mitigate some of the impacts to that, and how can we insert things. But the other side of my mind is, what is it that we're now trying to influence at the outset? You know, what can we start to instigate to create our own bill files? How can we work with Stephanie Grecius and Heidi Baldry and all these others to do things of our own? And that's something that we haven't been able to do or haven't really done much of previously. And so there's both angles of it, but we can be a lot better for sure at providing more information of what's coming down the pipeline and how can we influence that and things like that. So there's a lot more information we can provide you.
Do we need to have something in this flow chart where we are including Representative Grecius and Bus, Baldry? How does that communication happen, that our needs are getting to them, or is it just more informal, us reaching out to them?
Yeah, I kind of, for sake of space, I kind of group them as part of the lobbyist team. Even though they're not lobbyists, they're still kind of part of that same group as far as their overall function, in my mind. But.
Okay, any other questions for these guys? I know that it was discussed that possibly we'd revisit 1A to see if there was direction given from council as a body, and that was the overview of the Best Friends Animal Society program. Is there any desire to formalize direction to staff as a body, or?
My personal opinion is I think we need to study that more. I think there's some holes in that with some of the recommendations once, you know, a cat has been taken into custody, of how they're going to release them. I would like to have a conversation about what are the consequences of just following exactly what that said, because one of the things I was telling Councilmember Whiting, they've been picked up for a reason. They're a nuisance, they're tearing up people's garbage, they're fighting with their cats, they're somebody else's responsibility that's now become a homeowner's problem. So I think we need to make sure before we just go straight forward and say, you know, all cases, we're always going to do this. We need to put some brackets in there that there are things more than just they're a danger. There probably ought to be some other things in that as well.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Wood. Oh, sorry, Councilmember Whiting.
I was going to say they are willing, I mean, just in their commentary, they said they're willing to customize a community cat program. So I think maybe the motion would be for us to engage in discussions with them and have them begin implementing or at least just having discussions with us to see how they can improve things with us, especially where the cost to us right now is zero, which is nice.
This is just a discussion item, so you'd be making a motion to have our legislative team spend time on it.
Yeah, and I'm supportive of like, because I know they've got their code that they proposed, and we didn't really debate or discuss or digest the entirety of that code, so I agree that we need to look at that. But I feel comfortable enough to make a motion that it's added to the legislative priorities list that the city begin working with Best Friends Animal Society. And I'm not exactly, I mean, I don't want to like define the parameters necessarily. Let's start discussions with them on the various resources they presented to us, and then let's start moving that ball forward.
All right, so we have a motion
I'll second.
from Councilmember Whiting and a second from Councilmember Hewish. Are there any questions about the motion or discussion?
I'm wondering if it should be that specific, that it's just this entity. I mean, I recognize that they're offering to do something for free, but I just wonder if we should just cast a wider net, is what I'm thinking.
Councilmember Wright, I was thinking that as the motion was made because I feel ill-equipped to know what our other options are, and perhaps our next big thing that we ask staff to do is to bring back some of that code for us to discuss as a body, as a discussion item, and try to find out what our other options are. Would you be willing to amend your motion to remove some of that extra stuff?
Well, I'm looking at, for instance, they've got a fully funded trap, neuter, vaccinate, return program. That's better than what we have now. We don't have that now. And they will work with animal control to handle some of their duties, which may take off some pressure from the animal control people that we've got.
So we have a motion that's on the table. I think the main idea of this is, are we willing to let them go do the research, not get into details of this? Is that correct?
That's what I see the motion as, adding it to the legislative priorities list.
Is Councilmember Wright, but you don't, what are your thoughts?
No, look, I'm going to support it, Councilmember Whiting, but I'll just state this. It's not something that is high on my list of priorities, but if it's important to you and Councilmember Hewish, I certainly think that let's work on it, and if you can bring something back that makes sense, then we'll decide as a council. It's not something I'm going to spend a lot of time and energy on.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, it's an element, right? It's an element in a big grouping of elements that we work on, but I would love for them to begin talking to our animal control and see if there's something we can do to help with them.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All right, I think that it starts with me. Councilmember Clark is a yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Wood?
No.
Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
That passes 4-1.
Can I just make a comment on my no?
Yes.
I just think that there are far more time-consuming things we should have our staff chasing after. Maybe with it being a pet project like this, it might be good for the individual. Yeah, I didn't mean it that way, but just to have the council members that feel strongly about that to kind of do the legwork, because the staff has got a lot on their plate.
I mean, I'm okay moving forward. This is no cost to the city. I see it as a value add. I don't think we need to do a huge calorie burn. It's a pilot program. I just don't see a net negative to adding this. It's reversible, amendable.
Okay.
Well, I think the thing that would be nice to know is what kind of time could it save our staff? I mean, that to me is the most interesting part of it, is what type of cost savings could it bring to our staff? And what time would it free up from our code enforcement and others? So, I mean, that's the carrot part of it for me.
All right, so it sounds like we're clear on what needs to happen with that for legislative items. We'll move on to, go ahead. Go ahead.
We skipped one portion. This is a list of, I met with you guys in May to discuss things going forward. The highlighted, we grouped them. They're not in any particular order. So the highlighted, the bolded ones, county government, city government, public safety, recreation, those are the kind of the areas. The ones underneath it are specific things that I discussed with different members. It goes down to, I can scroll down a little bit. So it's education, finance, transportation. So I'm going to send this out tomorrow. What I like.
Hey, you can cross off 34. That's been done.
34? Oh.
Line 34.
Oh, rename crime. Oh, yes. So what I'd like you to do is score it 1 through 5, 1 being most important, 5 being least important. Score the highlighted ones, the general areas, so we know which general areas to work in, and then also score the ones underneath to see how important those are to you, and then we'll take an aggregate of it. And I'll also be reaching out to make appointments to discuss these things with you one more time and go over what has transpired so far in the interim session and what we're seeing coming forward. One of the state assemblymen have already opened up 25 bill folders, so he's the one that writes a lot on housing, so it's going to be a busy year for us. And then he talked about the AI. We've got a contract with Civic Relay. It's an AI that will read the bills, tracks them, tracks where they are, and you all get access to it so you can read it. It will summarize for you. You can make notes on it, and they'll come back to us. So what we're hoping this year, instead of me having to write all these white papers, is that when we get a bill that we don't like, we can actually start writing legislation that we want in it to change it and see if we can get someone to carry it as an amendment. So.
All right, thank you. All right, so now we're ready to move on to city council and mayor's business and liaison reports. Thank you, Mr. Magnus, and thank you, Mr. Barrett. This time is set aside for city council and mayor's comments on city business and for council members to report on their liaison assignments. Councilmember Wright, can we start with you?
Yeah, I'll keep it short. I told you that the seniors are working on the pantry, trying to facilitate a monthly donation from the seniors to them, those that can help. And they've got a lot of activities coming up. They're doing very, very well. DRC, I'm amazed by DRC. I think you all know that. It's really an honor to sit there and listen to and watch our staff interact with those applicants that come before them week by week. And then ULTC, there's a lot that we're getting ready for with the interim and all that's going on there.
All right, so I will quickly report on Community Services Board and the American Legion. The Community Services Board continues to amaze me with all that they're doing and moving forward. So we have a meeting coming up tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. And then for the American Legion, they had presented a proposed MOU for us. And there was some discussion within council of whether or not the $5,000 was like something that they were asking for a donation of or what, but.
It was $1,500. Is it $5,000? I thought it was $1,500. It wasn't $5,000.
You might be right.
It's 1,500, yeah.
Yeah, it's 1,500, sorry. In talking to them, it's less about the dollar amount and more about some of their needs. Flags for when soldiers come home or for special holidays, and funding to help with the Veterans Breakfast. But they added an additional one of funding to help with the Veterans Christmas Dinner, which hasn't previously been on the list. So my recommendation is to have a representative from the Legion sit down with our event staff to kind of figure those things out, and to have someone from the admin team be a part of that conversation. And then once they've discussed that, bring it back to us for approval. All right, Councilmember Whiting.
Youth Council has a big water fight to start right before the school year starts. So August 5th, put it in your calendars in the afternoon. I don't remember if we have a specific time, 2 o'clock. 2 to 4 o'clock at Corey Ride Memorial Park. And there are some of us up here who are going to be in a getting dunked by the youth and any angry developers or angry citizens. They're are also very welcome to come dunk us. So excited for that, and there's a lot of energy happening with the Youth Council right now, and they're growing. Chambers doing an awesome job, and it seems like there's a grand opening. It seems like every single week somewhere, which is very impressive. So
We have 4 tomorrow. 4 next week.
4 next week. It's crazy. It's awesome.
All right, Councilmember Wood.
Mine's gonna be short and sweet. Rodeo stuff's done, so we're looking forward to next year. Lake Mountain School District identified a new location and renamed ATEC. I'm trying to remember it starts with a B, but somehow I can't remember the name right now. But that has been identified and a location, so that's exciting that we'll have that in the new school district. They continue to expand the administration to prepare for the takeover next year in 2027. And then I'm behind on Alpine School District. I'm watching that one on video, so.
Thank you, Councilmember Wood. Councilmember Hewish.
Just echoing what you said on the Community Services Board, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, I'll be here.
Yeah, you gotta put on your racing shoes when you go to the Community Services Board.
Is there a dress code on the dunk tank, by the way? I'll be coming back from a business meeting.
Ooh, a suit would be
Whatever you,
awesome.
yeah. I will be in a swimsuit, but if you want to wear a suit.
I may be in full suit.
All right, is there anything else, communication items? We're good? All right, so then I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Wood and a second by Councilmember Wright. All in favor? please
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passes. We're adjourned and it is 8:26.